Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Victorinox Swiss Army INOX Carbon, or INOX. This is the newest INOX watch for 2017, and they have replaced the stainless steel case with a carbon case. There's also a titanium model that came out last year in 2016. So I guess the irony is that while INOX means stainless steel in French, I believe, there are multiple versions of this watch that are not produced in steel, although the back of the watch is steel. But what's important to know is this is probably the highest durability quartz watch that Victorinox Swiss Army makes. Of course, a Casio G-Shock with an analog dial and probably some others are also going to be very, very durable, possibly more durable. They don't have as sort of a refined European sophisticated look as this one. You'll notice that Swiss Army decided to put it on one of their Naimaka paracord straps. You can get this paracord strap separately on the stainless steel models, but there is an option with the carbon to get it on this paracord strap, which I'll talk about in a second, or on this caoutchouc rubber strap. So you can sort of imagine here what it would look like. Handsome, but I think it looks a lot cooler on the paracord. I was not a big fan of paracord until I sort of wore it. I thought it looked a little cheesy. It kind of looks a little bit bulbous, and it looks, it's kind of woven. I'm not really into the whole woven thing, but I'll get back to that. But I did quite enjoy it. So a very reasonable question is, why carbon? Well, carbon is a very light material. It's resistant to a lot of things. It's hypoallergenic. It's also quite scratch resistant. It's a soft material, and one of the things that people like about carbon is just the way it feels. Carbon is used in, this is a carbon composite, it's used in a lot of applications industrially. You have it in race cars and boats and aerospace and things like that. Carbon is interesting because it's not inherently a precious metal by any means. It's not metal at all, but it's not precious. But machining it can be complicated, especially with this type of precision, as well as having a very dense hard one. So again, there are many different types of carbon composites. This is a high quality carbon composite, and it's quite nice. So it's not just the feel, it's also the look. It has kind of a more industrial, raw sense to it. Someone I asked, female, I said, what do you think about this look? Because it's very different than, polished metal. And she said it looked like something that needed to be painted. So it has kind of a raw look to that. A lot of people like that. Not everyone is into that. I'm actually still wearing the watch right now. It's a little tricky to take on and off. So what I've done here is, and again, you don't have to have it on the paracord, and this is sort of a different style strap. So this is the XS. So I have smaller wrists. I like that kind of red and contrast stitching there. And right here, there's a little hook. So it's quite easy to take off, but putting it on one-handed is a little bit on the more challenging side here, but it does attach like a normal strap. The whole point of paracord, because it's actually made out of the same woven string that apparently is used for parachutes, is that you can undo it and use the string for quote-unquote survival purposes. Now what that means is, I guess it depends on where you are. It's not extremely long. Actually, on Victorinox Swiss Army's website, they say that you can use the cord to string up a tent or to build a fishing net. I personally don't know how to do that. I don't think the watch came with instructions on how to do that. If you were in a survival situation, I know that durable, strong string is very useful for a lot of different things. So I guess if you're in this situation, it's one extra tool. But once you unravel the strap, you no longer have a watch you can wear. You see right here, this is where the nylon cord has been burnt. So you would kind of, I guess, push it through here in order to unravel it. Naimaka is, I think, a Swedish brand, and they have, bracelets and things like that. So these paracord bracelets have been popular over the last few years. You see them every once in a while because they have a kind of an outdoorsy look. And again, if you are in an emergency situation, you can undo them and get some really strong string. So I think Swiss Army told me that if you have one of these watches and you are in a survival situation and you have to undo it and you tell them the story and it's like a legitimate situation, they will send you another one of these straps for free as long as they can use your story. So I guess that's an interesting incentive for people to go out and wear these. Carbon is lighter than metal. So it's not super light because, again, if you see on the back, it is metal, so I think there's a metal inner part of the case as well. So it's not super light, but it is definitely lighter than your other INOX watches. And so that's something to consider. But again, really this is about the look, I think. Again, it's durable. It's very hard, it's very dense, but I don't really see a lot of situations where this would be more durable than the stainless steel or the titanium model for that matter. Same size case, 43 millimeters wide, about 13 millimeters thick, very comfortable, very wearable. For the carbon, Swiss Army developed a new dial. It's not radically different. You can see that there is a ring here. This is the 24-hour scale, and it is applied to the bottom of the sapphire crystal. Kind of a controversial look. You can see this same type of design aesthetic on other Victorinox Swiss Army watches, such as the Airbus Mechanical Black Edition watches that has that same thing. So it's neat. This one kind of not really cuts off the date. So you can see the date there between 4 and 5 o'clock, and if you look at it kind of the right way, it's kind of at the edge. On the other ones, on the Airbus, it actually like bisected the date, and some people are like, why would you do that? It actually doesn't bother me, and it adds a sense of depth to the dial. You also have a couple of Arabic numerals here, so 3, 6, and 9. Those used to be just baton hour markers, and the hour markers themselves are a little bit different. So there's a little bit of a different style dial that I do like. So you have something in addition to the different case. There is a price premium. You pay, I think, a little bit more than $300. Again, and that's if it's on the paracord strap. If it's on the rubber strap, you pay, I think, about a $225 premium. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to spend more money on the carbon case? Do you think it's cool looking? Do you like it? I think it's really all about sort of perspective, because there's a lot of much more expensive watches that have carbon cases. I think the first luxury brand to have them was Audemars Piguet with their forged carbon cases that were, over $20,000. So this is obviously less. It's still an under $1,000 watch, but it does have a Swiss quartz movement as opposed to a mechanical movement. It's fine. It's a good hardy Ronda movement. The reason that Victorinox Swiss Army decided to go with the quartz movement is it's actually just a lot more durable for all the stress tests that the INOX watches have, which is, I think it's like 140 or something like that. The various vibration, shock tests, and things like that, a mechanical movement would have given out, so a quartz movement makes a lot more sense. So again, this is the Victorinox Swiss Army INOX Carbon. It comes on this paracord strap. I should also mention that if you get it on the paracord strap, they give you the rubber strap. It also has, of course, it is an INOX, so the the case protector. I always find this really funny. I don't know who would use this. I guess there are situations where you would want to have the added durability of this, I guess, this plastic coating to protect it. But then again, if you went out and spent the extra money on the carbon case and you put this on there, you're kind of hiding it. But if you really want to protect the case from scratches or things like that, I guess that's the way to go. This is kind of just a fun gimmick that they've provided with pretty much all, I guess all of the INOX cases. Price on just the rubber strap is $850. Oh, I forgot to say, the case is water resistant 200 meters, but you can easily find that out. On the paracord strap, that's $100 extra, so it's $950, which is up there, but it is a very well-made watch, durable, cool material. Tells a story because the carbon composite has, as a material, has different elements and a different look and a little bit of a different, more high-tech story than just metal. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that will like this. On the Naimaka strap, it does look cool. It's comfortable. Putting the strap on is, like I said, a little bit of a learning curve. So you can see here, I'm with one hand, and again, I have small wrists, so I like that there's a little bit of adjustability, but you gotta, takes me like a few minutes there. All right, I'm not even gonna try to do it, it's embarrassing. But actually, there's an easy way of doing it. If you wanna undo the buckle here or loosen it, then it becomes a lot easier to put on, and then you can tighten it here. That actually makes it, you can tighten it while you're wearing it. So I guess that would be kind of like the cheating way of doing it. So you put it down here on a surface, and then, I'm not even sure if that's in the camera frame. There we go. So now it's in, and then I just pull that, I'm doing that off frame. It's actually, if you put it on your leg, you can do it really easily. And so then there's this excess part right here. and you can put it through the little loop here that says INOX on there, and then it's actually just kind of dangling. But what I like to do is actually, in the little hook where it attaches, hide it underneath, and then you have a cleaner look like that. So I would pull it a little bit tighter there, but you have definitely, as you can see, a cleaner look, so you don't have anything dangling. So this is, again, it's a strap that has, you know, it's quirky because of the way it attaches and things like that, but you can you know, have it as tight as you want in your wrist, a little bit loose. It's kind of cool. And again, I have small wrists, and I was really happy that this isn't something that was difficult to do. So again, $850 to $950 depending on the strap. Get it on the paracord, it's cool. Victorinox Swiss Army sells other colors. They sell a red one, which I think would look really cool because there's some red accents, of course, on the dial. That would look neat, a little bit more of a bold look. And you can see the full review of the Victorinox Swiss Army INOX Carbon on aBlogtoWatch.